So, welcome everybody. We are back with yet another panel talk from coaches, and we're going to talk about hockey. We're going to talk about the World Cup, and the idea is that obviously I shut up as much as possible. These are the questions that I have prepared, but if you're watching us live, feel free to add your questions in the comments, and we'll bring them on as well to ask the panel here. But yeah, let me start by introducing the guys who are already online. As you can see, we're only three at the moment. The idea is that Shea McAleese will be joining us as well. But yeah, in New Zealand it is midnight. Shea went to sleep. He promised to put his alarm on and wake up, but I'm guessing that he's got some difficulties there. So we'll see if he joins us live. But the one on your screen, Xavier Reckinger, former Belgian international from the generation before the golden generation. Sorry, Xavier, but you brought
Play with all of them, it's okay.
you played with all of them. That's true, and you had two Olympics, you had World Cups, you had your fair share of success as well. Following your playing days, which went on and on and on and on, but following your playing days, and even during your playing days, you took an interest into coaching. Coached at your club, coached at the Belgian Federation in all of the youth pathways to the Red Lions and to the Red Panthers. Then you got the invite from Jamila Mulders to become an assistant for the German national women, and finally took over from Jamilon and was the head coach for the German women for many years. And like we talked about in the pre-show here, you're taking a little bit of a break from the exhausting job of an international head coach, but obviously still very much involved in hockey here. So welcome, Xavier. Love to hear all of your insights here about the World Cup.
Thanks.
Our second guest is Agus Corradini, former international player for Argentina. If I'm not mistaken, Agus, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were part of that legendary generation that started the road to the top for the Argentina men with a youth international World Cup win in Rotterdam in 2004, 2005, something like that. Yeah, you played for Argentina for many years. Also went into coaching, obviously, and coached Las Leonas, the Argentina women, for a while, before moving to Belgium, where you are now the head coach for Leopold, one of the top clubs in the Belgian honor division. So, August, welcome, and let's hear what the Argentina vision is on this World Cup. So, guys, first question is and let me start with you, Xavier. What was a remarkable game or remarkable moment from the previous games we've seen so far from the World Cup for you?
Well, my preferred game was Argentina against France. I think it was a really weird game. We went in every direction. Argentina leading, then France leading, and thinking they've won the game, and then still conceding the draw at the end. Argentina celebrating like they actually won the title. So it meant a lot to them, and it changed everything. Also in the rankings, I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was a fantastic game. It's also good to see that the corners. There was a lot of chats, at least here, about the corners not going too well and not delivering, but I'm always of the opinion the more you get to the end of the tournament, the more the corner starts to run, and that was a good example in that game that it actually does that. Huh? So, yeah, definitely that game.
Absolutely. August, I guess you liked the outcome of that game as well, because yeah, getting back into the game at what was it, 20 seconds before the end?
Yeah, even less, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Was penalty corner and then retake, and then I think the difference was Victor Charlet, the runner. The first runner was out because of running before, so France was defending one was less player. So that's also make the difference. But I agree with Sav. that was the most amazing match to see. I had my heart broken into pieces because, of course, Argentina is my country, but I have three players from Leopold playing at France, so I was half of my heart for them as well. But I think Argentina was celebrating that draw because for Argentina it's very important. I think have a crossover directly with Korea first. I think is more easy. I don't want to less respect to the Korean team that is really good, but I think it's easier than other crossovers. And then in case of winning and they're playing with the Netherlands, I think it's also a really good team, but not as well as Belgium, for example, as Germany or as Australia, England. I think is really really strong. India. So I think it was a really big draw. I almost say big win for Argentina, but was a big result for the expectation of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, one of the best games was Argentina Australia. A couple of games before, but there for me Argentina really surprised me the way that they played Australia. What was your take on that game, August? How come that Australia had so much difficulties with Argentina?
Because like every country against Argentina is unpredictable. Even for us, I think every nation has his own culture. Every team, in fact, has his own culture. For me, right now, Leopold is different than Gantoise, than Dragons, and Argentina is different than Netherlands, than Australia, than Belgium. So Argentina, we have the strong to be always on the match, no matter the score it is. We don't mind if we playing against 1v1, if we playing against zone. Argentina is always in the top of performance in the individual shape. So I think can surprise everyone. And Australia also start playing not the system that for me make the best for them, and Argentina take the match to his match.
Xavier, what was your take on that game?
Yeah, I like that game as well, but I think it's a difference between the most exciting game and like just enjoyment, and
Yeah.
the Australia Argentina game was more of a tactical chess game, and we discussed also in the pre-show, Ernst. I think in one of the big changes in this tournament, in the questions, maybe we'll get to that later, but it's that high ball into the circle and the way you defend it. I'm personally I miss a little bit some creativity and some new ways of defending that. I see that many teams still struggle with it, and I think Argentina is probably the one team that deals, or one of the teams that deals the best with it. And yeah, they prepared really well for that Australian game. So I think it was a very very deserved game, and you see there that they're one of the outsiders and that they're capable for everything. Against every opponent. So yeah, it's one of the outsiders for me in this tournament, and I totally agree with Agus as well. I can totally understand why they were so happy. Yeah? The road now to the semifinals and the medal games is probably easier. No disrespect to any team, but it's on paper at least a little bit easier. And you also see why France was obviously also devastated. But on the other hand, I wouldn't have mind seeing Gonzalo play against Argentina and see what that would have been. I know they already played Pro League, but I'm just curious what that would have been like. It must have been a big fuzz. I was involved in the process of him becoming a German citizen. Well, not directly, but I knew it was coming. And yeah, the question that always popped up with me was, how is that going to be received anywhere else? And I think having then such a game at the World Cup, maybe it comes later. I don't know the crossovers exactly or later on, but would have been interesting to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If, if I can
August,
add,
how's that been perceived in Argentina?
no, my heart is broken.
Hmm.
I love him. I love him as a friend. I also when I was assistant coach of Argentina when he started playing in the senior team, so I had a really good relationship with him. He's a really, really, really nice guy.
Mm.
And for me, it's a pity and a shame that Argentinian player is playing for Germany, and also there is Menini playing for Spain. That's a really big pity. But I don't want to enter in that thing because there is personal things. So I think they have to talk about it, not me. But just getting back to the tactic, Rec, I agree with you that the rule of the receiving flicks into the circle is something that the teams are struggling, but also the umpires are struggling, and also us as a fans looking the World Cup, we are struggling also. I think it's really difficult to manage, and not even for Argentina was easy to handle with it, because against France they did a penalty stroke because of that. The goalkeeper
Goalkeeper.
ran to the
Yeah.
player receiving the ball in the circle, and also two penalty corners, and they were also putting in risk the match because of that rule. I think for every team, this is one of the biggest change that we see from the last World Cup to this World Cup. How many high balls are played into the circle with a forward static, just winning the position of the ball. So this is something that teams will have to learn to play against.
Yeah, but I agree, Agus, but that's where I'm disappointed because Belgium's been doing it for a long time. I mean, I can remember a goal in the semi-final in Rio from John Dorman. It was a high ball that was flicked to Charlier. Great receive. He passed it then to John, who scored, and that pretty much sealed the game for Belgium at that time. And I think I know they were practicing it already a lot, and now it's become a habit for them. And they did it in Tokyo. They really started it. Now all the nations are following. And okay, that question of was it a penalty stroke or not, I don't know what they said in the briefing before the tournament, and surely the umpires will have to learn. But I'm just a little bit disappointed in the amount of time it takes for defensive adaptations. Of course, it's a new factor. It's a great adding to the tactic, but yeah, somehow I just find and I think that's really where Argentina is head. That's what I meant. I think that they managed defensively already better. It was a really weird decision, but maybe the umpire sees the goalkeeper charge out, thinks it's a foul on purpose, and therefore gives the stroke. I think it's still going to be also an umpiring thing probably further on the tournament, but hopefully also for them the experience will grow and they will get maybe some more details towards the knockout games now, and that will be sorted. I just find that a lot of strikers can receive very easily the balls there in the
Yeah,
circle, and if you
yeah.
ask me personally, yeah, it's going to happen. All teams are looking. You need to adapt to it. It's just my opinion, and then it's maybe the guy receives the ball in front of you on the ground, but at least you still have a chance. You know what I mean? It's that sort of balance you need to get. When we were young, Agus, you probably also were told that the further the ball is, the more you can be in front of your guy. As a defender, that doesn't count anymore now because at the highest level, it totally changed. So it's definitely a great new dynamics to the game, but I hope, and I also expect it, that towards the knockout games, teams will defend it better. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's a really big challenge for teams, but also because many teams are also start defending zone in the circle that in the past were not too common. So this is also an open door to flicks into the circle to aerial balls.
Yeah.
So, and that's a choice, no? Depending your team. If you are strong playing the zone, maybe you let receive the flicks and you don't mind. Maybe you are really strong playing man to man, so you can follow and you don't mind to open some spaces and pass in the center of the circle. So, I think I'm really happy with that rule, because I think open forward playing and more goals to come and more penalty corners to come. And I think when you are a fan or when you are a child, you want to see penalty corners and goals. And I think if you close windows, doors to score, or we change rules to not push for more goals or for more penalty corners, we are just don't make it our sport more visible. So I'm always for for making our sport more visible.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you think that maybe the use of the high ball that often is a little bit of a degradation of the build-up of the game over the ground? Are we not, because we're seeing a lot less combinations into the circle because of that high ball rule?
Shall I start?
Yeah.
um, No, I don't think so. Look, the way I see it is it's very simple. When you have the ball, if you can play it immediately to the central striker because he's free, that's what you do. Now teams defend, so you build tactics to go around them or through them or whatever to get past that. But it's the basic of hockey. You get the ball, you want to get it to the striker so he can score the goal. Now teams defend. When they defend in the zone, like Agus said, okay, one way is to go over them. It's a new thing that sort of developed over the last years. Now all the teams are doing it. It's a great addition. But then maybe a team starts defending differently because of that, and all of a sudden now you have more space to play on the ground. And that adaptability and that decision making is what's going to make the difference in the end in the knockout games between the teams that are going to go far in this tournament and not. And it's also about individual quality, of course. You need to be able to do everything. But I don't think it's going to degrade it. On the contrary, if you have teams that are defending really low in the circle, zonal, can make the sport a bit boring. And this option is just a great addition to it. And that the umpires let it go and are quite strict on that aspect, for me, is not a. It's an addition. I agree with Agus on that side. I don't know how you see that, but
Okay.
I see it in the same way. I see that open more weapons to attacking team. Otherwise, we're gonna become handball. Just a team defending the circle and the other one trying to round it to enter. So it's like, do you imagine field hockey without penalty corner? I don't. I don't, because sometimes the teams are too close and too deep that it's impossible without penalty corners to open matches. So for me, it's added value as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. One of the cool games from the pool games for me as well was Germany Belgium, Belgium Germany. What was your take on that game, Agus? Maybe you first.
Okay. For me, the first half, Belgium was much better. Always with the ball. When Germany tries to build up, Belgium just recovering the ball too fast. I think, in my point of view, of course, I didn't know how Germany prepared the match, but Germany was not playing with the contacts player, with the midfielders, and also I think Germany has really big players and really talented ones. So Germany was trying just to play long flicks, and Belgium was really big, really in a better place, really well placed in the field. But I think then Germany start to play, as Rex said before, with little combination. We start to combine with the key players, and I think the match was then for whatever team, but was really attracting to see.
Xavier?
Yeah. In the lead up to the game, I thought it was really interesting because in the Pro League, end of last year in Argentina, they played each other, and it's the first time since a long time, I think 6 or 7 years, that in an official game, Germany actually was able to beat Belgium. And I know mentally it was a big barrier to breach. Then closely before the World Cup, they played each other again in Cadiz, and I knew Belgium would thump Germany, and it actually happened. I think it was 6 or 7-0. And now in this game, I thought it would be a fairly even game, but then with Arthur being injured, it does have an impact. I actually think somehow it might have been an advantage for Belgium, because it was a little bit harder for Germany to predict what Belgium was going to do. And for me, that explains a little bit the change also in momentum. Like Agus said, I totally agree with him. The second half, Germany adapted better and played better because they sort of figured out how Belgium was playing. But it was a nice tactical chess game again. Two teams that are very, very close to each other at this stage. And the interesting thing for me is also that you really see Germany is hunting now. They're they're really hunting again. They really want to get on the podiums again. They really want to. They also openly say they want to win the tournament. So it's really an important measure for them. Also, the fact that then afterwards they take the goalkeeper out in the last game to still try and top the group. It means a lot for them. And yeah, I hope we get to see another Belgium Germany game at this tournament, because they're always just really good games.
Absolutely. Talking about taking goalie out of the game, obviously one of the key moments in the pool games for New Zealand was when Craig Nicol took his goalie out against Holland in the first quarter. What do you think about that decision? Was it to disrupt Holland, or what was the thinking behind that? Do you think, or would you have ever done that, Xavier?
Yeah, look, my last game at the Olympics, I think could have been one of the tools I should have used. But for me, I don't mind taking the goalkeeper out at the end of the game if you have to force something. I think I'm a coach that likes to do that. I'm not sure he did it to try and disrupt Holland. I think it's more to trigger his team. It happens. Sometimes it just happens. You can't reach your team, or it's just one of these days. Like one game in 80, it happens, yeah. And then it's just like to create a shortcut, just reset everyone. It's like Control Alt Delete on the computer, guys. What are we doing? You take the goalkeeper, or you do something crazy just to try and trigger it. And I think it's more in that fashion that he would have done it. It's definitely something that could be used more. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, that's a little bit how I see it. But yeah, interesting for sure. Yeah.
Agus?
I personally not agree with putting the goalkeeper out in the first quarter, but every great idea in the world start as a crazy idea in the beginning. So I love to see other sport how they manage. Some time ago, I was talking with a handball coach from Argentina, a friend of me, that he told me that right now in handball, match teams are putting out the goalkeeper and playing with one more player to attack. And when they lose the ball, the goalkeeper is in the line, so just run and sprint to the goal, and they change. So why not in the future? I think we have to be open. Of course, this time the New Zealand coach and the New Zealand team, they didn't get the result they expect for that. But why not in the future? I don't know. Right now, as a coach, I cannot see that as an advantage. But maybe in the future it is with some change it or with another way.
The issue is also how you can do it. So I experienced a little bit with it. For example, at the end of a quarter, let's say you have a long corner, there's 12 seconds to play. You could say, okay, I mean, we shouldn't lose the ball. There's 12 seconds to go. It's still a long time. I mean, in 2 seconds, the ball can be in a circle, but we experience it. But it's also a thing of you have to ask the table. The table needs to communicate to the umpire. The umpire needs to hear it. In India, at a full stadium, not always easy. Then the ball needs to be out. There's so many things in handball. You can do it immediately, whereas in hockey, there's so many factors that you can't control as a team that just make it totally easy, totally crazy to do easily in the heat of the moment. But you can. I think it's like the high ball. 5 years ago, no one was really focusing on it, and now it's a common thing. So yeah, let's see how that evolves. But yeah, like Agus said, it didn't work out really good for them.
Not this time. Not this time. Would you be a fan of changing that rule and allowing for goalkeeper switches on the fly, like for example in handball? Do you think that could be? Is there a reason not to do that?
I think maybe it would be interesting if they don't have to change at the midline. The extra player comes in at the back behind the goal. I don't know, whatever, but it's probably logistically not doable. I just don't think you can do it logistically. Probably. It's a crazy idea.
making the change in the middle. We had some teams as Korea playing with 12. So imagine if the change we can do it from wherever in the field. But I think I agree to every change that doesn't change the sport. You know what I mean? Um, if we can play four quarters instead of two half, because that make more space for the publicity, for sponsors, and to sell the sport better, I agree. So if we can change the goalkeeper easily to play with 12, or more changes, or for example, if you can change the drag flicker in the field like was in the past, why not? I think why not? I think international federation and every federation in every country in the world has to think how to keep our sport Olympic, how to keep our sport more attractive to new people and to new players. Because I don't know, I love my sport, I love hockey, and I think some things that are not making some attractive to the whole world.
Okay, guys, let's look forward now. The games ahead of us. Can you tell me, August? I'm starting with you. What game is the one that you're really looking forward to from the games that will be played, crossover or quarterfinals? Why? And can you tell an audience of coaches what do you think will be a very tactical play from that game that they have to look for?
I think the next crossover for me that is going to be really interesting will be Germany France,
I agree.
because I think it's not going to be easy for Germany. I think
Or for
France is
France?
very good team. I think is my personal opinion. Charlet is one of the best four drag flickers in the world at the moment. I can see him every day in the Belgian Championship, and also in this World Cup
Yeah.
is really good at that, with a really good statistic, and also he's the first runner.
And really good.
So yeah, and also I think French, they know how to play in the zone. So I think it's gonna be interesting for me. It's gonna be a big question: is France is gonna be put pressure on Germany or not? And if they will play with center forward, or they will play with two forwards as they did it against Argentina. And for me, Germany also has such talent, and the match, I think, it will change a lot if Germany can open the match easily in the first half or not. I think that's changed. I have I don't know, a lot of confidence or a lot of focus put in Wellen. I think Wellen is a crack player, is a different player in my way of thinking. And also Heinrich is a midfielder that I love from Germany. And I think it's a match that no one of both teams can make a penalty corner. You know, Grambusch and Paylat for Germany, Charlotte for France. You know, if you make a penalty corner, it's almost goal. So that's gonna be open also the chances, the clear chances for field goals. It's as we spoke before, with the flick. Okay, you can protect the flick, but you open some windows or some doors in the circle. This is the same. You can defend differently to don't make penalty corners, but in the same way you are opening for field goals. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game to see. And of course, my heart will be with France.
Ah,
Xavier,
yeah,
same
I think
game.
time pressure will be against Germany. That's definitely the case. Like Agus said, the more the game stays close, the more pressure will build on Germany, and the more France is going to believe. France traditionally always plays better in knockout games. They have this thing. It's some countries just have that they play better. But for me, Agus has a bit more insight because he coaches three of the guys. But I did see from pretty closely the German team. They also did not. They're rebuilding
We have lost
I lost
Xavier.
connection. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's me or it's here.
No. It's I think it's Xavier who's lost the connection. So okay, August, what do you think that France needs to do to beat the Germans? Because for me, the Germans are the biggest outsider to become even world champion, maybe.
Yeah. I agree with you, but I still believe in France because I love my guys. uh,
But that's that's
but
that's the heart. That's the heart talking. What's the
yeah,
mind
but
saying?
you know I'm Argentinian, eh?
Yeah,
I
okay.
cannot put my heart out of my mind.
No. Clear.
But I think I totally agree with Xavier. I think the time in the match will put a lot of pressure to Germany because they know they are better in the papers and
Hmm.
they have to win and they should win. But I think also France has his weapons. He also has quality players in the midfielder. And also with that penalty corner, you can believe. I can also give the example of us of Argentina in the Olympic of 2016.
Hmm.
We knew we had Paylat,
Hmm.
so sometimes we were not the best team in the field, in production, in circle penetration, but we knew we had Paylat. And the other teams, we knew also we had Paylat.
Hmm.
So that changed a lot in the mind of the players. So, and you can see the frustration in some players when they provoke a penalty corner against a really good direct flicker. So I think that's gonna make also a special match to that match.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, Xavier, you're back.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, internet connection.
yeah,
Yeah,
no problem.
on
It
the
happens.
last point, Agus, you had Pailat, but you also had Brunet, you had Villa, you had I think you had the best striker line in Rio. You had a very clear tactics. It's just high balls and try and get a corner, and you had the guys that could do it. And
Hmm.
that's where I think the Argentinian team in Rio was more solid than the French team now. I think there was more quality. Uh, if they get four corners and Germany, and four go in, okay, then Germany needs to score five. It's not easy, yeah, for sure. So it's a weapon. But I just think there's more quality. The German team's been rebuilding since a long time. I think it's a blessing for them that the World Cup is now and not in the summer like the women's, because Andre
Hmm.
just started. They had a good view at analyzing the Olympics. They're a very they're also like chasing. It's like Australia didn't win in Tokyo. They want to try and win now, and Germany really got hurt not medaling and ending four in Tokyo. So it's the next big tournament, and that's where they want to be. So could add pressure on them as well, for sure. Which again plays in the hand of France, but yeah, I, let's just say it like that. Agus is like you said, huh? If the score stays close really long, then
Hmm.
France is going to become better, and pressure is going to be more and more and more on Germany. But in quality, for me, Germany's just got more. I mean, they have T. Sprins, which is an unbelievable player. Hendricks, you said. Nicholas Wellen's on fire. I really rate their goalkeeper.
Hmm.
Alex is a really, really good goalkeeper, and he's now also, it's his second big tournament. It's always different. Um, they have a strong foundation in the build-up. They have some good controlling midfielders. They have speed, good corner offense, good corner defense. So they have the full package, and that's where I think France has got some limitations in some aspect. They're definitely a really good team. Huh? Don't get me wrong. I really, really like them, but they're a little bit more limited. So Germany is definitely favorites for me.
Hmm. If allow him to comment on your goalkeeper comment there, Xavier. In our
Yeah.
previous panel talk, we had Mark Knowles stating that the team that's going to be world champion this year is going to be the team that has the best goalie. Um, how important is that role? And will Stadler, for example, be that guy for Germany?
I think he could be. But
Mhm.
I think it's an easy. I mean, Nolzi obviously knows a lot about hockey, but if you look in the history of the game, since let's go back to 2000, Ronald Janssen, he was the best goalkeeper.
Mhm.
2002, Weinhold, he was he's just, when he was standing, there was no space anymore to put the ball next to him. He was so tall, and so probably in the history, it's always been the team with the best goalkeeper that's won it. Vinny's won a lot of games. So he had a massive impact. I always say good goalkeeper and a good corner gets you a very, very, very long way.
Yeah.
And I think Alex could be that guy. Yeah, definitely. He's young, still.
Mm-hmm.
He's really young, and so I think he can be. But yeah, for me, Vinny is still ahead of all the other ones. But Alex is definitely also a good one.
Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on that, Agus? Do you need the top goalie to become world champion?
Yeah, at least a really good one, and also in the penalty corners, because I think right now the goalkeepers, they are separated between those ones that are good in the field, those ones that are really good in penalty corners, and those ones that are good in both, of course. That's the special ones.
And shootout.
And I think you need a keeper good in the penalty corners first, because it's easily to cut lines or to defend in the field goal, but not in the penalty corners. Penalty corners also you need a first runner, a really good first runner. And I think, for example, Belgium has everything. Has Vincent Van Asch, has Victor Wenier, and also I hope still Hendricks.
Yeah,
I hope.
Talking about that, you mentioned, okay, Argentina in Rio. Yeah, they knew they had Payet for the corner, and that was a deciding factor. Belgium, obviously, last couple of years had Alex Hendricks as a deciding factor on the corner. Alex is injured at the moment. I know that he's going to get a scan tomorrow to see if he will be able to play, yes or no. Will that have a big impact on Belgium, or can they handle it if he can't play?
I really believe also in the others, in the other drag flickers. Of course, I think they are really, really good. But Hendricks was a special one as well. He showed that in the last tournament. So I think gonna have an impact in Belgium team for sure.
Xavier?
Yeah, look, in Tokyo, if you look at the quarterfinal against Spain, close game, one card for Spain, created two corners. Alex put both in, game over. Semi-final, here we come. So yeah, a good corner has a massive impact. We do have the luxury that we have arguably the best one in the world, and then arguably, let's say, three guys that would probably fit in the top 10 best flickers in the world. It's a massive luxury that we have. So it will have an impact for sure. And it can, but we have the luxury to have other guys as well. Yeah.
Agus, if you look at the games to come, what will be for coaches the player to watch? What is the special player that they have to keep an eye on what he's doing?
Wow. Hopefully there are so many for each team. As we said, we were talking about Germany. Germany, for me, Wellen is a fantastic player. He's a different one, doing sometimes things that could be shown as easy things, but they are not easy at all, because it has timing. For my country, for Argentina, I think Matias Rey is the one to see in Argentina. Is always doing everything simple, but they are not simple at all. Always with a lot of timing. For England, I love Wallace. I think also it's a special one in the midfield. Craig from Australia also, he's doing a wonderful tournament. Really, really wonderful tournament. For Belgium, I cannot put my heart out as well, so I would say, of course, Tom Boom and Gauthier Bocard. Yeah. I will. Tom is a special one. I won't say the name, but yesterday when Belgium was playing, someone write to me a message and say to me, Agus, we didn't see Tom already in the tournament. And I say, wait for him. He will appear in the moment that we need. And they make 5 afterwards. So a special one. It's a special one. It's a special one, and I think special ones show their talent in a special moment as well. Um, then I don't want to forget teams. For France, I say Charlotte, of course, is a one to watch, and also Gaspar Bogatem in the middle. I think sometimes it's not doing the things for the TV, the best dribblings, the best things, but they are always in a good place. That's very important. Always cutting line with good passes, with running with the balls. Um, which team I'm missing?
I think you got most of the favorites already. So,
Yeah.
Xavier, maybe your player to watch.
I really like Wallace. I really, really like him. There's many great players, of course, but I really like him, and I also want to highlight him a little bit more because I do think that England, we haven't really talked about them, huh? But
No.
it's a really, really good team. I
Mhm.
quite like them, and they're cruising through. And I thought they were really, really good in Tokyo as well, and I really like them. And I also expect them to go far. And like always, the Palms under the radar, but then in the end, boom, they show up and they're there when it matters, and always challenging teams. So I really, really like that. But I'm a very, very big fan of guys that do a lot of work and make the other players play much better. Agus says also, like really great players, they have the ability to make everything look easy, also when it's really hard. But guys like, and usually it's more experienced guys. John's been doing it his entire career.
Mhm.
Felix Zenaar is a guy like that. Florent Van Nobel, he also just makes everyone play better. So those three in the Belgium team. Um, and somehow, yeah, Australia has a way of doing it as a collective. They always are able to do it as a collective. Agus highlighted Craig. I think Gover's having a really, really good tournament as well, which I'm quite. How shall I say it? I think he was still looking a little bit for himself in the Belgium league. He wasn't that much standing out as he's with the Aussie team, and he's really, really picked it up. So I'm quite happy for him, and I'm a big fan of Ockenden because he's also a guy that just makes everyone like everyone. It's like the French keep saying it, but I agree with them. When Zizou was on the pitch, everyone was playing 10% better, and I think he's a guy like that. And those are the guys that I thoroughly enjoy playing with because they also provide the ability for guys like Tom, guys like Wellen, to be for the special ones to be the special one, and they create that opportunity. A guy that I personally really like, and also I'm very, very happy for him with the way things went, is Cédric Charlier.
Mhm.
Because for me, he was in his whole career somehow underestimated. And I think he struggled with that. And the last year, he's really broken through, and he has such amazing quality and such amazing control of everything he does. So I also think he's playing a really good tournament again. So it's quite nice to see. So yeah, I have to put him there as well. But there's many, like I always feel that's a tough question because I don't want to offend anyone by forgetting him. There's so many good guys that you could name. So yeah, for sure.
No, absolutely.
Mhm.
Then last question for me, guys, is who is going to be world champion? But more importantly, why? Agus. Not the heart,
I
not the heart, the mind.
now now with my mind, I will say Belgium, because um, it's the most experienced team in the world. They are the same group of players playing together from so many times that this is not a easy thing to get in a team, and this is the dream of every coach, I guess. No, to have youth player but with a lot of experience and a lot of time playing together. So Sean Domen playing 360 caps. I
Yeah.
don't know how many.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This
Mhm.
this is not normal. But if you see the less capped player in Belgium, I guess should be 200. this is this is unbelievable. And also they have I think one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They have the one of the best drag flickers in the world, and they have one of the best runners, first runner in the penalty corner in the world. So I think the key of every championship they have even like this, they won the last Olympic by shootouts and the last World Cup by shootouts. So that means this sport is really open. But if I have to bet, I don't like to bet. But if I have to, I will do it for Belgium.
Okay, Xavier.
Yeah, same. If you look at all the great dynasties, it's all teams that have been together for a very, very long time. You had at the end of the 90s, start of the 2000s, you had Holland, then Germany had it. Just a group that stayed together. And Australia's always been at the top also. And they're probably the exception in the way that they have been always changing players somehow, and they've been able to do it. But also on the key moments, I think experience does a lot, and that's where Belgium excels, and that's where they have the edge at the moment still. So I would also have to go for them because, like Agus says, the younger guys. I mean, in the previous question, I could have said Antoine Quinat, I could have said Victor Renier. They're all unbelievable players, but they're young, still. I mean, since 2014 when I retired, I think those two, maybe two other guys, joined the team, and otherwise they're all playing together since then. So it's a team that they just know each other by heart. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll have to root for Belgium and for Vini to just get it over the line again.
Yeah, I can imagine. Are we going to see a shootout in semi-finals or final? Do you think? Yeah.
I think so.
I
In
hope,
the
I hope no.
games, close.
Agus?
I hope no, but I don't know.
You're not a fan of the shootouts.
No, 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 not really. I don't know. I don't like them. I don't think they make some extra value to our sport. I like field goals. Sorry, I'm old school.
Yeah.
What do you think, Agus? Ernst, you asked, sorry, I changed the topic a little bit, but you asked about a change of rules. What do you think of the drop-off system? You know that? I experienced it once. It was in New Zealand, start of the 2000s, but it's amazing. You play, it's a draw, it's a knockout game. You play, I don't know, let's say 7 minutes, 11 against 11 extra time, golden, or no golden goal, just 7 minutes. And then if it's equal, you play 9 against 9 on a full pitch. 7 minutes, and then 7 against 7 until there's a winner, until there's a golden goal. Something like that would make the sport so crazy and so nice and so exciting.
I tried. I totally agree. I tried in some trainings with my team here. We get fun, and also it's amazing. I think I'm more for field goals and penalty corners. Field goals and penalty corners. I think this is something wonderful to see, and not shootouts or penalty strokes. But it's my feeling. I don't know if I'm right or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The thing, shootouts, they're nice, but the way the video goes now, I don't like it anymore. It's video on video, and then you've won. Oh, no video because we still have it. Maybe there's something I didn't see that they will see on video, and I understand it, but it's not nice. Yeah, for sure, it doesn't make the sport better. Yeah.
No, and also, I will make a comparison with like indoor hockey. I'm not a specialist of indoor at all, but I remember that one time they put out a one player, make it more spectacular, and at the end was more tactical and less spectacular. So I think the same in the shootouts. We imagine the shootouts as something special to the audience, but for me as a coach, it's boring. A player or most of them putting back to the goalie and turning, and so when the stereotype way of play that wins, I think we have to change.
Cool.
What do you think will win, Ernst?
In all honesty, I think my bet would be on Australia.
Okay.
I fully agree with all the comments you make and the reason why it could be Belgium. Experienced team, playing together for so long. But in all honesty, and it's also something that was discussed with Mo Fürster and Mark Knowles in our previous panel talk, is there will always be a change of generation of the dominant team. And I have a feeling that we're about to see that, and that Australia will become the dominant team for the next couple of years. And I think that this could be the moment that sets it off for them. But yeah, you never know. I think it's going to be a enormous battle. The team that I did not expect to be an outsider was England. But for me, they are an outsider at the moment. They can surprise everybody. But in all honesty, I think the two best teams are still Australia and Belgium, with England and Germany as very dangerous outsiders. India, we haven't talked much about India, but yeah, they can surprise everybody in the bad way and in a positive way. But yeah, for me, it will be Australia, and I think that could be the launch of a new era of dominance by Australia as well. So
We didn't say anything about Holland either.
no, well, like I told you in the pre-show, and the funny thing is former Australian international Simon Orchard is doing a I think daily podcast about the World Cup, and in one of his podcasts he told his audience that he thinks that this Holland team is the worst Dutch team ever to play on the World Cup. I do not know if I agree with him. I think that it's difficult for me to talk as obviously as a parent of the previous generation. So you have to be careful about what you're saying there. But I do believe that the previous generation was a lot more talented than this generation. But in all honesty, I think that Jeroen Delmee, as a coach, did a great job of building a team. And we talk a lot as coaches about the connection within the team. And I think that he's built a team with a lot of connection among the players. So I do not think that Orchard was right in his estimation that this is the worst Dutch team ever to play on the World Cup. But are they ready yet to be considered a true outsider? They've had the easy way to the quarterfinals. They've had the most easy pool of all. It would have been a challenge not to become first in that pool. So they probably will have one of the least strongest teams or challenges in the quarterfinals if it's going to be Argentina, because the Argentinian team is a team that they like to play. So they had the easy route towards the semifinals, but I do not think that they will make it to the top level. So I think that India has a bigger chance of upsetting anyone than the Dutch. But it's still the Dutch. Quality is there. They can surprise. Agreed or not? Xavier?
Yes, yeah. Well, it's the team that I've seen the least, but I know Jeroen very well. I played for him both in the national team and at club, and yeah, he's a very good tactical coach. He also developed a lot as a coach internationally in France, and yeah, I think if there's one guy that rebuilt that team really nicely is rebuilt. I mean, they still lost in shootouts in the quarterfinal in Tokyo. So, but okay, it's a new coach, new start, new project, and I agree with you in the sense that I'm sure Jeroen is targeting Paris more than this World Cup. Mm-hmm. And so it's probably less of a highlight. It's a World Cup, it's a highlight, but it's less of a highlight, and he's probably more focused on Paris already. But yeah, if you can win a title on the way there, it's never a bad thing. And once you're in the semis, everything is possible, like you said.
Agus, you have seen everything. What did you think of the Dutch?
Yeah, I don't agree. I not agree in the fact that there is the worst Dutch team in the history. I think just is young team, very young team, and I think teams are like fruits. It's about moderation. So you can eat an apple in a moment or in another, and could be juicy in a moment and horrible in another. So I think this is not. I feel this is not the moment of this Dutch team, but will be. So with time and with work, there are a lot of talent, of course. I will never say that a Dutch team is not talented. It's impossible. It's impossible. With the infrastructure, with the number of players playing, with the culture, with the, of course, they can have a lot of problems like every team, like every nation, but not a lack of talent at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, let's round it up here. Thanks very much for sharing the knowledge with us and sharing the insights for this World Cup. It's a shame that Shea McAleese was not able to wake up, but yeah, okay, we have to give it to him. It's very late it's dark in New Zealand at the moment, so we fully understand that a young family father needs his sleep as well. But we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking to both of you guys. So thanks very much, and we'll talk soon. And let's enjoy the World Cup to come. Bye bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Huh?
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao.